Do you know what's really happening to your kids' packed lunch at school? Have you asked them? Without expectations of what their answer is going to be. You have interactions with your kids, and there's things you do that you may not even think about. Your body language, your tone of voice, the fact that your kid knows you want them to eat their broccoli. Many, not all, but many kids want to please the adult that's in charge of them. Something to think about while you watch this video. I've broken this down into 2 categories. Your kid's lunch comes home. And 2 is, hey look, it's empty! There's no lunch in there, my kid ate all their food, yes! But did they really eat it all? School lunch, the 5 things that may be happening with your kid's packed lunch other than them eating it. Number 1, your kid can't open it. That may seem like it should have happened at school. Like, let's say there's people in the lunchroom, they should be helping my child. Your kid may not raise their hand for a few reasons. One is they don't realize they have to raise their hand if that's how the lunchroom works where you're at. Or the other is they don't want to feel stupid, so they don't raise their hand. Quick example, I had a little girl last year that had a container like this, and she could never get it opened because her dad put the lid on. So maybe having her do it was important, or having her try to open it after somebody closed it. Number 2, they are not hungry. They had breakfast. They're not growing. Let's talk about that. I have a 13-year-old. Sometimes he eats so little, like a bird. Well, maybe not really like a bird. That's really kind of gross to think about. But anyway, he eats very little. And then sometimes he eats like 5 times the amount I do, which I just don't know where he's putting it. So it really just depends on when he's growing. And in this case, ask yourself, do you think your kids should eat when they're not hungry? 3, they might tell you there was not enough time. There's many things that could factor into this. One might be they talked the whole time. Depending on your kid's school, their teacher may do more of the talking in the classroom, or maybe they had like testing or something in school that day, so they really didn't get to talk much, and so they get to lunch and they didn't have recess yet, if this is elementary school, and they're just like talk, 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 and then somebody's like, we have 5 minutes left in the cafeteria before you go outside, and they're like, oh, well, I guess I could eat it later. And they lost track of time because sometimes at school, you don't get to talk much as a kid. And some kids have a lot to say. There might be more of a story to this reason. You may want to do a little bit more digging and ask about your child's schedule with maybe their teachers or the office and see what really happens at lunchtime. Do they have enough time or don't they? Who determines what enough is? Time. Is it real? In the 3 cases where the food comes home, how do you react? Do you ask them, why didn't you eat your food? Or do you go in on them like this? Why didn't you eat your food? I spent a lot of money on this food. You should be eating your food. You need your vegetables and your fruits. And all you ate was the candy. Maybe all they packed was the candy. Oh. Hey, look, it's empty. But why? Reason number 4. Your kid shared their food with someone. There's a few reasons why they might be sharing. Maybe the person next to them didn't bring a lunch or have a lot in their lunch. Maybe the person next to them had a bunch of food fall on the floor and they wanted to make them feel happier. Maybe the person next to them just had better food and they have started business already. Pat that kid on the back, commend them. They are working the system of, well, food to get what they want. Trading, it's a thing. It is a thing. Number 5, they threw it away. Why might they be throwing away their food? As an elementary teacher, I know that I've seen some kids throw away their food, not really thinking about it. At the school where I worked, if students had leftover lunch from the actual school, they weren't allowed to take it out of the cafeteria and take it with them. I'm sure it's for health reasons, and something going bad with the food and then I'm getting sick, blah, blah, blah. But if a kid is hearing, oh, it's time to throw away your food and pack up, they might be like, oh, I have to throw away my food? Is that a thing? Like, that seems kind of stupid possibly, but what your kid doesn't know until they know it. If you're wanting them to bring the food home that they didn't eat because you did spend money on it, then maybe there's a little bit of thinking to do around that and communication. I must share with you about a specific student that I had last year, and every day, I swear, he had an apple. Now, I personally was like, you should bring the apple home. You could eat it, somebody else could eat it. But as soon as I walked by him, the apple went in the trash. And my assumption is, now I do not know if this is true, My assumption is he didn't want to eat that apple. He didn't want to eat that apple at home. He didn't want to eat that apple at school. He didn't want anybody to think he didn't eat that apple. So the apple disappeared into the trash. What I would say in this case is if your child is not eating it at home, they're not eating it at school either. It's just not happening. If you're trying to be a good parent, which I feel like most parents are, trying to be the best that they can be for their kids and hopefully themselves too, then maybe, just maybe, asking them what they want in their lunch and having them help you could be a thing. And there you have it. That is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I saw as a PE teacher on lunch duty with your kids doing with their lunch, other than eating it. If you can't do this with that, this might just be the first thing your kid lies to you about. School lunch. It's about the kids. Your connection with them can fizzle the flame until they barely remain, or fuel the spark and light up their heart. Yep, I made that up. Anyway, if you like this video, let me know. Then I'll make more like it. Bye for now.